So seeing what is the most valuable to us, and are we maximizing our value? Because even like when we talk, when we get into real life situations, that's what people want to really hear, because they're dealing with real life situations. So they either can choose to keep doing the same process, or they get educated on how to do something different every time you're going through an experience that you did not expect in 2022, right? Because we're constantly seeing patterns where people are not able to hold up on their end of the deal, basically. Their foundation is so cracked and crumbling that it's kind of like a person drowning. They're willing to pull you under too, to try to save their own life, when you were trying to explain to them, hey, don't go out that far, right? And so again, the extremes to this are going to be, every time you experience a situation, to shell up. As I said, like, I've seen a lot of different people in the world, and I've seen people living in almost like rat holes. They're so terrified of what's going on in the reality because something even happened to them as a child. They have no real experiences in life beyond that, and they even have been growing up in like small cities where they haven't even had the experience of the world or a bigger city or any of that. They've been growing up in these small cities, towns, right? And they're just there. And the whole house and their life and their vibration and their frequency and everything it's already like destined for oblivion, right? Now you have your life where you're conscious enough to even view your own self, see everything that's going on around you, see these patterns, but notice that the most important thing is still your energy. That's even going to be until death and beyond death. Like, are you afraid of what's happening, or are you ready? Right? Like that energy. Are you ready? Are you standing in this because you are so powerful and you are so mighty? Like I said, somebody in your mind that has done something that you feel like you don't like, they're getting free real estate in your mind if you're even thinking about them. Somebody that you even get so mad that you even want to kill the person, you will risk your whole life because you're going to jail. Like, few people get away with murder these days. You're going to go to jail for the rest of your life for this person that you hate. You're going to give them the rest of your life. How much sense does that make? It makes none. So for a person to have any of my energy because they supposedly did something wrong, that's what they won't get. Because of the ultimate truth, which is that our protection, our ancestors can only see us, and they can only protect us when we are in their vibration. And if we choose to come into these lower distorted vibratory frequencies, which is say distorted, because there's nothing wrong with low frequencies, with their base, we use them, plants grow in them. But distortion, if we choose to come into distortion, it blurs your field. It's like noise. You even feel it inside of your mind. You're sitting there trying to figure out if the person's even right in the things that they're doing. You may even stretch out to that, like, did I do something to them? And is it just me? Am I my bad luck? And you just can go on this infinite of the wrong direction. When truthfully now in 2022, as I said, what this is really about is it's about knowing exactly, so where's the middle ground in this? If I can't cut myself off from everybody and then ball up like a rat, and I also can't go full blown into the reality and just get totally crunched up by it, like lose all my morals and be like them, selfies and all of this meaningless, and just get wrapped in that and have no time to really create what I am, no time to really even love the things that I would love, what I prefer, not what everybody else prefers. Because if sometimes you can get caught up and, now you're only doing the things that everybody else prefers. Like, hey, go do this, stand on your head. And then you start looking at your life and you realize that your life is not really a life. It's a program, a character. And especially when, we passed out the book on the characters. The first time I even read something that told me about 70% of how I act, I was startled for a moment, because I said, man, there is really something that already is predicting how I'm going to be? Wait a minute. That means that all this is already written. So what's going to ultimately happen to me? That's already written. And I only found comfort in realizing that you can get beyond what is written, right? Beyond all these prophecies and all this kind of stuff, that you can get beyond that. But you need to go through this, right? Like, we're going through something to get somewhere. We're not going to get buried again. That was the first process. We get buried in the netherworld deep, because even the greatest trees that you're seeing on earth, those are our ancestors. So as I said, the big trees, you got to plant them real deep, because they're not going to get uprooted like the rest of these trees. And so we've been planted super deep, coming up through the netherworld of all of the real bullshit that is going on with the beings that live in and inhabit those spaces. And as we've been gliding through that, now we're really in this face of ourselves. There's like this clarity where it's like, either you create and you go and you do what you are, or you will focus too much on all of the immense level of distraction, because I said it, we're all connected. We're all in the same field. And quadrant 4B of the Taurus, it's a joke, but there's a whole quadrant of the Taurus right now that is blinking red with fear and loss. And it's sending that signal throughout the entire framework. And we need to be in with our great mother and our great fathers. And we need to be in that foundation and that security, right? Which is a way of being. It's a feeling. And it's like all of what we've been doing, all of what we've been learning, it's been for that. It's been to be able to do that, because you will see the benefits. And that's what I said, March the 22nd, we're on course. I want to remove everyone from my space altogether that is not in alignment with where the vibration in the spectrum really is. Like, if we see each other again in another orbit, whatever. But this one right here, this choosing of the Aster, this is the one that is going to account for everything.